bringing out that belt that he stole last time in Dayton. You heard CM Punk explain why he wants this match, and now Homicide is mocking him.
Well, Homicide, and here we go. It is on. Homicide, who a lot of people consider the MVP from last year, against CM Punk, the man who a lot of people consider the MVP this year. Back body drop by CM Punk. Homicide goes to the floor. Jimmy, let's point out.
Punk pursuing Homicide to the outside. This is not where you want to be against Homicide. He can brawl with the best of them.
Boy, and if it's anybody that might, and I do use the word might advisably, be able to keep up with Homicide outside the ring, it is CM Punk. We talked about the battles against the Prophecy, the battles against Raven. He held his own with Samoa Joe outside. Though we should point out, Homicide 2-0 against CM Punk. CM Punk talking about building momentum as we get prepared for that world title shot. Well, he's going to try to break a curse against Homicide right here.
He dumps Homicide right into the crowd. This one might not be able to be contained in the ringside area. What's Punk doing here?
And I think he may have broken Homicide's ankle when he suplexes him. The full brunt of that goes right on the ankle.
What about Homicide back first on those chairs? Punk taking it back into the ring. You've mentioned this is the third singles match between the two. They first met at Round Robin Challenge 2, Retribution, back in 2003. They met again earlier this year in January at The Last Stand. Homicide winning both those matches, but Homicide was a different man back then. CM Punk was somewhat of a different man back then. Now we're seeing these two collide, and this time they got a grudge.
Well, and if you see Homicide, you know you're going to see the Rottweilers around the ring, as you do here.
That's right, Rocky Romero at ringside. Punk scores with a powerbomb. We got a cover. Todd Sinclair with a 2 count. You do have to keep an eye on Rocky Romero, one half of the ROH Tag Team Champions, a man that's going after Samoa Joe in the world title tonight. Another 2 count by Punk.
Conspicuous by his absence out here is Julius Smokes.
I don't know where he is tonight. Ricky Reyes is also not here tonight. Loki isn't here either, as he is in Japan.
Rocky Romero will get as you mentioned, is getting a title shot later on this evening. You would think that Julius Smokes would want to be here for that.
Well, you never know what the Rottweilers are up to as Homicide bails out, saves himself from that face wash. Rocky Romero offering some support. Punk goes airborne and takes them both out.
There's a great line in the original Godfather movie where Michael Corleone says, "This will be the day that we settle all the scores of the family." And CM Punk is trying to do just that, taking on Homicide in this match, and later on trying to settle the score once and for all against Generation Next in the final match of the evening.
As we have a back and forth in the ring, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Punk scooping up Homicide.
Greco-Roman backdrop.
Homicide frustrated in the early going of this one as Punk has been dominant. A torture rack. That's something you don't usually see. Rocky Romero distracting the referee. And Punk cannot get distracted.
Well, I'm really surprised to see CM Punk. Big knee to the back by Homicide. Sends Punk all the way to the floor, and Rocky Romero set and waiting for him.
Homicide and Romero almost working like a team. Homicide distracting the referee, allowing Romero to get that cheap shot in. Oh, and look at that impact on the neck on that hardwood floor.
I'm a little surprised by the decision of CM Punk to come out to the ring by himself, knowing that he was going to face Homicide, knowing that you never face just one of the Rottweilers. I'm surprised that we're not seeing Ace out here.
Yeah, Ace still probably preparing for the 6-man. Cole Cabana, of course, still out with that shoulder injury that he suffered at the hands of Generation Next.
Homicide still favoring that ankle from the early where he
It looks like it's his lower back as well. Punk, though, let's see if Homicide can follow up. CM Punk insisted that this match happen right here in Dayton after what happened the last time in Dayton when Homicide stole that belt, ruined the post-match after the World Title Classic.
They had presented Samoa Joe with a new ROH Championship belt. Homicide steals it after the 60-minute draw. Homicide still frustrated by the fact that he will not be getting a title shot at Samoa Joe. Jimmy, you can comment on exactly how long that stipulation will last.
It's Homicide and Samoa Joe are not going to be in the same ring until at least 2005. And in fact, wow, there you see Homicide assaulting the neck again, and a big knee to the back of the neck.
You know, obviously Homicide's going to be frustrated by that, but at the same time, it makes Homicide even more dangerous. Homicide has nothing to lose out here. If he loses this match, he doesn't lose a title shot, so he can be even more aggressive. He can take even more chances. He's the one with nothing to lose.
Homicide did get the last laugh on Samoa Joe at Scramble Cage Melee. Don't forget he pinned Joe in that non-title three-way. Oh, there's a vicious kick. But he pinned Joe after CM Punk hit him with the Pepsi plunge.
And CM Punk is upset. CM Punk believes that delayed the rematch with Samoa Joe after the 60-minute draw, that Punk believes that if he was the one that had scored the pin, it would have accelerated the process of getting that return match.
CM Punk did have Samoa Joe beat after that Pepsi plunge, but Homicide swooped right in and stole the pinfall. As Punk missing the drop kick.
Boston Crab, full Boston Crab. And now he's going to sit back on it. This is the textbook. Now he's going to go into the half crab.
STF.
Beautiful float into the STF.
This one wrenches at the neck, tears at the knee, tweaks the back.
Now remember, not only does CM Punk have to wrestle again tonight against a very dangerous Generation Next faction, but he is close to that world title shot coming up.
Tomorrow night in Chicago, CM Punk and Samoa Joe, the rematch will finally happen, and you know that Homicide would love nothing more than to ruin that match.
Well, and Homicide may be softening. We keep talking about Samoa Joe tomorrow night against CM Punk. Homicide may be softening him up for his partner, Rocky Romero.
There's Homicide going for a knee. Nice T-bone suplex. CM Punk's getting to the point now. He has to mount some offense soon. Cover. Ref Todd Sinclair with just a 2 count.
Again, you have to question, sometimes your courage overrules your intelligence, and we've all been guilty of that from one time or another. And for CM Punk, I can appreciate his pride and his ego wanting the match with Homicide here, again on the same night where he already signed to face Generation Next. But I don't know if it's wise to make this challenge so close to a world title shot, whether it is Samoa Joe or Rocky Romero.
You're right about that, Mark. Punk might have let pride get the better of him. He was signed to that Generation Next match, but he insisted that he wrestle Homicide right here in Dayton after what happened on June the 12th. And we got a small package. 2 count only. Homicide quickly back up with a clothesline.
Does anybody throw a better clothesline in ROH than Homicide?
The notorious 187 puts him down with the lariat, no doubt about that. Homicide now joined with Todd Sinclair.
And it's divide and conquer time. Rocky Romero, and I'll get more into this later, but I think it would be a mistake to overlook Rocky Romero's challenge tonight to Samoa Joe.
No doubt about that. Rocky Romero is a man that can definitely take Samoa Joe. We'll hear from Samoa Joe in a few minutes also about that upcoming match. There's a sunset flip. 2 count only.
You know, it looks like CM Punk has decided he wants to wrestle this match. He scored early brawling with Homicide outside the ring, but once Homicide's taken the advantage, CM Punk, it looks like he wants to wrestle his way out of trouble instead of brawling his way out of trouble.
Well, see, Homicide has a definite strategy. You saw just now CM Punk clutching at the neck and Homicide kicking him right in the back of the neck. So Homicide definitely targeting the neck. And now he puts Punk down with a thumb to the eyes. That's cheap. Oh yeah, he really thinks he outsmarted everybody.
Yeah, it takes a lot of intelligence. Einstein used to use that move when he had fights.
Punk now getting pulled up by his hair.
Crotch hold lift and body slam by Homicide.
Homicide might be spending too much time, John, with the fans there as he ascends to the top rope.
Homicide, again.